This is the Emotional Vocabulary Series by Duenas. Today we will address emotional entitlement and dependency as an introduction to the 6 stages of emotional entitlement and dependency. Please note that the terms he and she are used interchangeably and apply equally throughout this writing. Definition of entitlement. Entitlement refers to an individual's belief that their needs, desires, or expectations should take precedence, often without considering their partner's perspective or the mutual dynamics of the relationship. This mindset can manifest in various ways, such as expecting special treatment, prioritizing personal needs over the partner's, or believing one deserves more than what is fair or reasonable. Definition of dependency. Dependency refers to a state where one partner relies on the other to fulfill their emotional, psychological, or physical needs. This reliance can range from healthy interdependence, characterized by mutual support and shared responsibilities, to unhealthy dependency, where one individual becomes excessively reliant on the other for validation, self-worth, or decision-making. The following are the 6 stages of emotional entitlement and dependency. Stage 1. Appreciation, the initial stage. At first, when a woman receives something for free, whether it's tangible like money or intangible like attention, she tends to respond with gratitude. The giver is seen as generous, and the gift itself is viewed as an unexpected or thoughtful gesture. At this stage, the receiver is still independent in her emotional state, as she sees the gesture as a bonus rather than a right. Signs of appreciation. She expresses genuine gratitude. The gesture is seen as kind or thoughtful. She is not demanding or expecting anything in return. The relationship feels balanced, with both partners contributing equally. Stage 2. Anticipation, the developing expectation. As the giver continues to provide these gifts or forms of attention, the recipient begins to anticipate the act. She knows something is coming, but there is still some level of excitement. The giving is still appreciated, but now it's expected to some degree. While the anticipation grows, the dependency on this generosity is still in its infancy. Signs of anticipation. She begins to expect the gesture or gift in specific situations. There is excitement or anticipation leading up to the moment of giving. The act is still appreciated, but less surprising. She may make subtle remarks hinting at what she's expecting. Stage 3. Expectation, the gradual shift to dependency. After several instances of giving, the recipient moves into a phase where she doesn't just anticipate the gift, she expects it. At this stage, there is an unspoken belief that the giver is obligated to continue providing, whether it be financial support, attention, or other forms of care. What was once a surprise is now a norm. Signs of expectation. She feels disappointed or confused if the expected gift or attention is delayed or less frequent. She begins to see the act as something she is entitled to, rather than a gift. Her reactions may become more neutral or less enthusiastic because it is expected. Subtle hints may turn into direct statements of expectation, such as, "You always do this for me." Stage 4. Entitlement, the false sense of right. The entitlement phase marks a critical shift in the dynamic. The receiver now feels as though she has a right to the continued giving. At this point, there is no longer an appreciation or surprise associated with the act of giving. Instead, it has become her standard. If this standard is not met, she may feel angry, resentful, or even victimized, believing that the giver is failing to meet her rightful needs. Signs of entitlement. She demands or feels frustrated when the expected act of giving does not occur. Gratitude disappears, and the recipient may even start to take the giver for granted. She may voice complaints or show disappointment when the gift or attention doesn't meet her expectations. There is an expectation that the giver will continue providing indefinitely. Stage 5. Dependency, emotional reliance on giving. Once entitlement has been established, the woman may fall into a deeper emotional dependency. At this stage, she relies on the giver not just for material or emotional support, but for her sense of stability and well-being. This is the most dangerous point in the cycle because the act of giving has become a source of emotional regulation for her. If the giver fails to meet these demands, her emotional state may become destabilized. Signs of dependency. She becomes highly anxious or upset if the giver does not meet her expectations. She may begin to manipulate situations to ensure she receives the expected attention, money, or gifts. The relationship feels increasingly one-sided, with the giver constantly trying to meet her needs. Her identity or self-worth may become tied to what she receives from the giver. Stage 6. Depression and anxiety, the emotional breakdown. If, after becoming dependent, the giver stops providing what is expected, whether it's material or emotional support, the recipient may fall into a state of depression or anxiety. This is because the giving has become an essential part of her emotional framework. The absence of the expected gift or attention creates a void that she doesn't know how to fill on her own. The sudden withdrawal from the cycle leaves her feeling abandoned, inadequate, or deeply insecure. Signs of depression and anxiety. She feels abandoned or rejected when the giving stops or diminishes. Her self-esteem plummets, and she may feel unworthy or unloved. She experiences heightened anxiety about the relationship and becomes fearful of losing the giver's support. Symptoms of depression, such as withdrawal, sadness, irritability, or fatigue, may manifest as a result of the perceived loss. The manipulation sets in. Identifying the stages. Recognizing where she is in the cycle. To understand where someone is within this cycle, it's important to pay close attention to their behavior and emotional responses when giving occurs or doesn't occur. Here's how to identify each stage. 1. Appreciation. If she continues to express genuine thanks and shows no expectation for repeated gestures, she is still in the appreciation stage. The relationship is likely balanced, with both parties giving and receiving. 2. Anticipation. If she starts to show excitement or hints at future gifts, she's likely in the anticipation stage. There's still some joy in receiving, but she's beginning to count on it happening. 3. Expectation. When she starts to expect certain gestures and feels disappointed or confused if they don't occur, she has moved into the expectation stage. At this point, giving has become less special and more routine. 4. Entitlement. If she starts demanding or feeling frustrated when her expectations aren't met, she's in the entitlement stage. Gratitude is gone, and there's a sense that she deserves whatever is being given. She contemplates becoming manipulative and subliminally loads the giver with guilt. 5. Dependency. If she becomes emotionally reliant on the giving and starts experiencing anxiety or stress when her expectations aren't fulfilled, she has reached the dependency stage. At this point, she may begin to manipulate or control the situation to ensure the giving continues. 6. Depression and anxiety. If she reacts to the withdrawal of gifts or attention with deep emotional distress, such as feelings of rejection, worthlessness, or anxiety, she is in the final stage of depression and anxiety. This stage indicates a deep emotional reliance on the giving, where the absence of it causes significant emotional instability. How to prevent emotional dependency? Breaking the cycle. Breaking free from this cycle requires conscious effort, on both sides of the relationship. Here are some steps to avoid enabling emotional dependency. 1. Set boundaries early on. From the beginning, it's important to establish healthy boundaries around giving. Make sure both partners are contributing equally to the relationship in different ways, and avoid creating patterns of one-sided generosity. 2. Encourage independence. Support your partner's personal growth and independence. Encourage her to pursue her own interests, passions, and goals, rather than relying on the relationship for validation or support. 3. Communicate clearly. If you notice a shift in expectations or entitlement, address it openly. Communicate your feelings and concerns before the situation escalates into emotional dependency. 4. Balance giving and receiving. Healthy relationships are built on mutual respect and equal contribution. Make sure there is a balance between what you give and what you receive, and avoid setting up a dynamic where one partner is constantly the giver. 5. Promote self-worth. Help your partner build self-esteem that is independent of the relationship. Remind her that her value is not tied to what she receives from others but in who she is as a person. Conclusion. Understanding the emotional costs of unchecked giving. The cycle of appreciation to dependency is a gradual but potentially destructive process, especially when unchecked giving leads to entitlement and emotional reliance. For both partners, it's crucial to recognize the early signs of this dynamic and work to maintain a balanced, healthy relationship by establishing clear boundaries, fostering mutual respect, and promoting emotional independence. Couples can avoid the pitfalls of emotional dependency and create a relationship based on genuine connection rather than a cycle of giving and taking. This was a primer on the 6 stages of emotional entitlement and dependency from the Emotional Vocabulary series by Duenas.